Right, now tell me about your summer holidays when you were a child.
Oh, when I was a child. Well, when I was a child, I used to go into my aunt's at High Wycombe. They used to keep the pilot coaches, and they used to have me in there for 3 weeks in the August holidays. And I used to take, and my uncle used to take me out on the coach. We used to go down to the, no, I didn't go to the seaside, but I used to go to Burnham Beaches, anywhere like that, you know. And then my aunt used to have me. She had me over at Henley, 1 year for a holiday for 3 weeks. This one we used to we used to go up the river every Saturday and have a picnic up to Monkey Island. Then we'd land and go and have a picnic on the beach in the field there. That was really great, and that was the only holidays I really had, you know, to go away.
When did you see the seaside for the first time?
Oh, when I was about 16.
Oh, really?
Yeah, my grandfather, he used to hire one of the coaches from my uncle. My uncle used to drive it, and he used to have a family outing. All the family used to go down, and I've got a picture of myself if I could find it, with my uncle, with my grandfather, and we used to all the grown-ups had all the beaches. And I used to go into the sea paddle with I'd got 2 cousins, and then there was well, they weren't cousins, but they were related to my aunt. Yeah, there was 2 more. That was it. There were 5 of us children used to go into the sea, but that's the only outings I ever had, love. I never sort of went anywhere else. I used to have to look after my 2 cousins on my holidays from school. We used to have to play with them and take them out. I was only 7, and I couldn't see over the pram. You know, they had a big pram, and I used to have to take these out. But if the hood was up, love, I couldn't see where I was going. But I had to do it. That was every day. I used to have to go and play with them, and then when they went to bed, I was sent home. I used to get 6pence a week.
Oh, did you, for doing that?
Doing that, and then when during the August holiday, when you used to have 4 weeks holiday in those days, and I had £0.50. That was 2 and 6. And I thought I was well off, you know. But my grandmother used to take it from me and put it in a money box to save, so I didn't.
And did you know how to swim, Marty? Could you swim?
I can't swim, no. No, I couldn't swim, love, no.
And no one gave you lessons?
No, we didn't have lessons at school in those days. I mean, after they used to go to Burnham Beaches. Can you remember the Burnham Beaches? Yes. No, we didn't have swimming lessons, anything like that when we were at school.
And when you were at the seaside, did you have ice cream?
Yes.
Did you have ice lollies?
No. Just a penny cornet. A little penny cornet.
Was it in a glass holder?
No, just a little cornet. It was a penny. That's the only ice cream, but that was a luxury.
Only, Mum says she doesn't remember ice lollies. Can you remember when they first came in?
Yes. It was when Ian, I should say, he was about 2, and we lived at Woburn then, and the Walls ice cream used to come on with a tricycle, and it was called Stop Me and Buy One. And Ian, I can see him now. We used to buy. They were a penny, and you used to push them. It was like a cardboard thing, and you used to push it up. And we used to buy one, and then it'd sort of go round the road and come back. And there was Ian, and I can see him then. More please, more please, more please. Oh, he was a pickle. You know, he used to have one a day. Yeah, and then I know that they weren't very tasteful, really. But of course, that was a treat in those days. I mean, that was the first ice lolly. Well, we didn't have ice lollies at the seaside, but we had these what we called the penny cornets, because I had one when I was still at school, and it was Del Nevo. He used to come through from High Wycombe every Sunday, and my grandmother, she wouldn't, because they were sort of religious, she wouldn't buy anything, but because my cousin next door, he was the apple of her eye, he wanted one, so she used to give me 2pence to go out to this van and get 2, one for Brian and one for me. Well, he didn't like it, so I finished it. It was only this morning. I went to school the next day, and I was in agony, absolute agony. They took me outside, and in the end, a big girl had to take me home. I had ice cream poisoning.
Really?
There were some little lumps in it. It was only like frozen custard, really. Little lumps in it. But of course, it was a treat for me, because greedy me, I had mine and I ate the half of my cousin. I was in bed, I think for about a month. I really was, because you didn't go to hospital and then really pain. I can feel it now. Well, then it was Henley Regatta, and I was sort of recovering then. And my grandfather, because he used to drive he used to drive horses, and he hired this wagonette, I can see it now, to take us all over to Henley, because my auntie lived in Henley. And they asked the doctor if I could go. And they said, yes, as long as you put pillows round her to keep so she doesn't jolt. But I was taking it again, and I didn't go. But my aunt had me in Wickham for recovery, so that I had a nice little holiday and got there. And I did get better in the end, but I still feel, it still goes to my stomach.
Isn't that incredible?
Yeah, and
I didn't know you could get ice cream poisoning.
Oh, yeah. Oh, and there was quite a few died.
Really?
Yeah, and as this man, he used to go right down to Woburn Green, and when he got to, everybody was waiting for him, and there was one man, he nursed his son, but the son got over it, but he died.
Really? And it was all to do with the same?
Oh, yeah,
same
he hadn't cleaned out his things, you see. Don't even, it was terrible. And I mean, if I'd have had a bigger one, a big thick wafer, they were big wafers, but this was about, the cornet was about that length, my love, and then there's the little bit of ice cream in it. Yeah, he said, I don't like it. And of course my grandma said, Molly will eat, give it to Molly. And of course Molly ate it. Well, I didn't know this, I just thought it was lumpy, like a lumpy custard. But
so everyone that he served to that day all fell ill?
We were all ill, but I can see, because apparently my mother was nursing somebody. She'd had a baby, and somebody had come by in the bus or something. Yeah, the buses were running them. And they said there's some poor little child sitting outside on the seat with two teachers. And they said she was being sick and bad. So Mum said, I put it in Molly, and it was me. They brought me home. It's because you had to walk. The buses didn't run over that frequently. I know it's not very nice to be. Everything come back was all green. It was horrible.
Oh, Marty.
So that was that. Because I was at the seaside. It was always just the ice cream. I can't remember they didn't come in, my love, until after the war. Yeah, it must have been after the war, because they wouldn't come in during the war. Because what was Ian? He was born 1938. No, I was married 1935. I had 1936. Yeah, 1930. Oh, there could have been the war, yeah, because when did the war finish?
1945.
Yeah, it was before the war then, love, because I can see Ian now running round, ice please, cream please. And he hadn't got a penny, because we used to give him a penny to go and get one, you see. Yeah, cream please, and I often tease him.
Now, Marty, talking about the war, because that's the other thing, that when we finished the last thing, we had actually bypassed the war, because you moved up to Flatwood Heath in 1950, didn't you? 1952?
Joy wasn't quite 3. Was she? I'll have to rack my brain. Ian was born 1938, and there's just over 7 years difference between us. What would that be, 1930?
Yes, so Joy would have been born in 1945 then, wouldn't she?
She was born when the war ended, yeah.
So if we start now, the second volume of your memories, at the start of war. So where were you living at the start of war?
In Y Road at Woburn Green.
And so by that time you had Anne and you had
Ian. I'd got those two.
And so what happened to Mr. Martin?
Well, he was in the auxiliary fire service. I've got it all in a box. He joined the auxiliary fire service because they said that they wouldn't have him up because, you see, he got a bad foot, but I did. And he was in that for a couple of years. And then he was called up And he went out to North Africa. And I think he was about 3 years out there, love.
And did you see him at all during that time?
No.
So when he was called up, you must have been really upset knowing that he had a bad foot anyway.
I was, because they all said he wouldn't go, and they said no, that he won't go, but they did. And then he got invalided out after he'd been out there for so long. You see, they sent him back, but it was just before when he came back, he was stationed at Taplow. There was a big house there, and he used to have a sleeping out pass that he could come, because he landed in England the 24th of August one year, and Joe was born the 24th of August the next year.
Oh, right.
Yeah, and he had this sleeping out pass, but I mean, they shouldn't have sent him out there. He was out in Sicily and North Africa and all round there. And that.
Did he actually do fighting, Marty?
Oh yeah, love. He said there was a big monastery up a hill at the top, and the Germans were in there apparently, where they had to go because he was in the Royal Air Force. Then he was put into the Royal Air Force Regiment, you see, love. And he said they could only go out at night when it was dark, and they'd got sort of rope or something all up this, and they had to hold on because otherwise they would have been down in enemy territory. And they used to creep up there at night to sort of shoot them and all, for fire. Sorry, but he wouldn't. I can't tell you a lot of love because he wouldn't tell me. He used to tell other people, but he would never tell me.
Why is that?
He didn't want me to, I suppose, worry so I don't know what, he must have gone through more than what he used to tell me, because I mean, because his brother, you see, his brother was out in Italy, and he was wounded. Well, they sent him home. Well, he had so much of his leg shot away.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and, because they were like that, those two. And I think my husband saw him, because it's in Italy and North Africa, weren't we? And, but he got invalided home, love. But he was always, it went ulcerated, and if that healed, then he had ulcers in his stomach. So he was down at Stoke Mandeville for a long, long time. He was up at Paddington Hospital. But in the end, they gave him a little car, an invalid car afterwards, quite a while afterwards. But no.
So, when Mr. Martin came back, then he would have been 1943, would it? About 1943.
He came home just before the war finished. And he wasn't there, I don't know, he was over at Taplow for a while because I'd got some evacuees.
Had you?
Yeah, it was an elderly guy. He was an old police. He was not, I've got to be careful what I say, but he was an old policeman from Popular in London. And he lived with his daughter and son-in-law at the bottom of Brookfield Road at Woburn. Then they moved up to Boundary Road somewhere. Then they moved next door to my mother-in-law. They had 2 rooms there. And my grandmother, she didn't want to be left on her own overnights. Because one year my cousin had gone round, because she only lived next door. She used to go round and sleep where she liked going out at night time with the boys and all this. Well, my grandmother didn't, she didn't poo-poo that. So she said to me, she said, Molly, she said, get that old couple into your house, which is the worst thing I'd done. Let them have 2 rooms in your house, but you can go over there in the daytime, but you can come and be and sleep with me at night, you see, with the 2 children. Well, I did that for 3 weeks. Well, then she died, you see. The 2 children used to sleep upstairs, but I slept downstairs with her because my grandfather, he was an invalid. He couldn't go upstairs. So my grandmother had always kept the 2 single beds down there, so she had one and I had the other. But 3 weeks and she died.
Well, your grandmother did?
Yeah. And, because of course then I went back, but he was a horrible man. They used to, see, we got the back door and the front door, and we sort of got like a kitchenette, and then we got the lounge. Well, I suppose it was a bit bigger than this, you see. Well, I let them have, they had Anne's bedroom. Ian's bedroom, we filled up with some of their bits of furniture, and my furniture that I couldn't use up in there. So Ian and Anne slept with me in my bed, and Ian slept in a single bed. In my bed, there was 3 of us in my one bedroom, you see. Anyhow, as I was saying, I used to have to go in the morning, I used to go in and put my kettle on the stove, but I used to put a penny in the gas every morning, because he said obeyed it. So I put a penny, so that helped them to buy my kettle. Made my tea, because I was working daily, I used to work daily on the Abbotsbrook. And he was taken into the nursery and to school. And in my lounge, I'd got an open fire, so I used to boil my kettle and that, when I come home from my tea and all that. And I bought a new white slop pail, they called it in there, that's the lid, filled up with cold water every morning. That's it. So I didn't have to go out into that kitchen anymore, not even to use the cooker, because my mother-in-law or my mum used to give me my meal when the children had their meals at school, see. So. And then one day he said something about, they came and emptied the gas meter. He said, I think I'm entitled to half of that. I said, do you? He said, oh yeah. I said, well, I put a penny in every morning, and I said, I don't use the gas anymore, but I gave him, to keep the peace, I gave it. Oh, it's horrible. He's an ex-policeman, dog. And I give him half of that. And then on a Sunday I cooked, and I used to take it out and put it on my... She'd got a range, you see, the kitchen maid, but I'd got the gas stove, and cooked my lunch on that. But I used to wash up and all in my little room, in this room, on a big tray.
It wasn't your house anymore at all.
It wasn't. So, and he used to go, when they used to go out, love, they used to lock the back door. And if I wanted to go out round in the garden, I'd got to go out my front door all the way round. Well, on a Friday, they always used to go down to their daughters for all the day. I used to come home, and of course we'd only got a coal copper then. Didn't have electric gas running. We had to light a fire to do my washing. And I used to have to come out all the way round and hang out my washing in the sun and that. And put the children to have their bath. So they could only have a bath once a week, you see, and I don't think that old couple had a bath the whole time he was there. But when they went...
How did you get rid of them?
Well, then Arthur came home. He was, as I told you, he was on... he could come home, he had eaten. Well, of course, then I fell for Joy. And she was being sarcastic one day. Something she turned around and the war had finished. The war had ended. And I was getting... so I said... Something she said. So I said... oh, I'm sorry to say it to you, Mrs. Beard, but I said, you'll have to get other accommodation. I'm expecting a baby. She looked down her nose and that. So, when I went and come home from work this day, one day, and she said, my daughter said that why can't I go into a nursing home to have my baby, because you was getting 10 shillings a week from the government, and that could help. I said, you tell your daughter to mind her own business. I said, I'm having my baby at home. I said, by having you here, I said, I was a shilling a week out of pocket. Because I said, my husband got me what they called the hardship grant, 11 shillings a week. I said, I only got 10 shillings for you being here. She didn't know what to say. Well, of course, when the end of the war came, the government stopped paying that 10 shillings. He tried his utmost, because Arthur had been to a lawyer through the RAF, and they said, don't take any money off of him, because he said, once you do, he's got you. But he said, well, you're not taking it, he's trespassing. Well, that went on for about 6 weeks, 2 months, and he kept asking me. I said, I haven't got to take it. Oh, and they were very rude to me. As a matter of fact, I'd got a canary, and he offered to look after it. Well, I'd got that in that room. Take your bloody canary. That poor boy couldn't do any, hadn't done him any. Oh, he was horrible. So when Arthur came home, Arthur said to him one day, he said, would you mind leaving that back door key? He said, when you go out. He said, my wife's the lodger, not you.
Yeah.
And he said, my wife's not going all round there. He said, to hang out our washing and do what she's got to do. He said, just leave the key in the lock, he said. He said, you've got a front door key as well. So he said, you see, they could have done that, love, but they used to lock that back door. Well, they could locked it, but not taking the key with them, which they used to do.
If you hadn't had them, would you have had to have somebody else?
Oh, I'd had a lot of evacuees, my love.
Did you?
Yeah, I had, got to stop and think. First of all, we had a young lad, and he'd been at a hostel down here on the Abbotsbrook, and they came, because I had to have them, you see, yes, I had this young lad. He was the first one I had. His name was Munger. And he came on the Saturday. They brought him up from this place on the Saturday. And every Saturday, that's before Arthur was called up, we used to come down to the River Thames, go across on the punt, across the other side, so the children could paddle and bathe in the. We took him. He took off his socks. Sally used to see his. He'd got these rib socks on, you know. There was the dirt all up. You could see the pattern of the sock. He'd been in a hostel where they hadn't bathed him, had they?
For how long?
Ever since he'd been there, I reckon. My husband said, for Christ's sake, he said, get in that water straight away. He was disgusted.
How long did you have him for?
Well, then, I had a girl before him, though, but never mind. I had him for about 6 months or more, if not longer. Because in the end, his mother and father used to come down every weekend, bring 2 more children. And this Ronnie, that's it, because he had Ian's bedroom, and I don't know whether Ian I don't know how he arranged it, but anyhow, because Ian wasn't as old as him, you see, he was only a baby. And it got that the mother and father used to come down every weekend to see him, or every other weekend. Then in the end, I got all of them, bar the father, sleeping there. And this Ronnie, he didn't stop in his room. When his mum and dad come the weekend, he used to go in the one room. So there was 5 of them in one room. And I don't know, because there was only a double bed in there. And then one day, Anne was on, and in them days, you had to put your arm in the light there. And she was on, and I saw this boy put his hand on the iron. He went up to his mother, she was upstairs, and she come flying down at me, Anne, I'm going to Anne. She said, you put, I forget, Ronnie, I don't know what his name was, hand on the iron. I said, she did not. I said, he did it himself, because she wouldn't believe me. Pardon, there was a rain, and they went back, thank God for that. But before that, I had a girl, and they treated us dirty with her. I mean, I used to buy her clothes, hair ribbons, socks, and all that, and this, that, and the other. And they come down one Sunday, and made out she was unhappy, but she wasn't. They took her away, and then I know the letting officer, he come in, and he said to her, and they don't ask us to put your daughter in your house, because he said she'd got a good home and everything here. I mean, I treated her like my own 2 children. And of course, we had this Ronnie. And then there was a man lived in Ernie Andrews. His wife had to go into hospital, and he got 2 girls. And he said, could you look after them? Because, see, I'm daft if I don't say no. He said, could I look after them while his wife was in hospital? Well, I was left with these 2 girls. And it was terrible. In the end, he did get them freshly billeted. But then after that, that's it. That was when the tea people opened at Woburn, and I had 2 of the war workers. Oh, I never loved it. I'm still friendly with one of them. Yeah, one, she lived to Woburn Common, Emily, and because she married a Woburn chap, and we were still great friends, and then they bought you know where the Brook House nursing home is in Woburn Green, your aunt.
Oh yeah.
But they had that as an hostel then, so they all had to go there. They didn't want to go. Oh, they loved it with me, and we did, because I did shift work, 6 till 2, then 2 till 10, and Arthur always used to go and meet them when I was 2 till 10. Well, of course, then he was called up. Then they went. Then there was a knock on the door, and Arthur was there, and it was this Scotch chap, and he said, I got room. We got a room we could let. His wife, he was stationed where my husband had been stationed, and where he was stationed when he returned home. That's it. He said, could I got a room I could let for her? So anyhow, he said, it's only for about 6 weeks, he said. And he said, well, why don't you have me? He said, we'll be company, because I was there with the 2 children then, which I was quite happy. Oh, I wish I'd never. He was Scotch. Anyhow, he used to come and sleep sometimes there. Well, I laid in bed. Say, this was the room, and that was my bed, and I could hear them. There was other Scotch chaps in there, and I was drinking. I used to lie up in my bed and really shut. I thought, whatever I got on. But anyhow, and I came in one day, and he was there, and I could see she was expecting. I bet he thought I was green. He said, I've got to take my wife back to Scotland. He says she's got appendicitis. I thought, yeah, you'll be having appendicitis. And I had 2 children on me, and he said, got appendicitis. Thank God for that. And I don't think I had anybody after that. Oh, the beards, yeah, that's it, I had them. So I had a certificate, and I don't know what's happened. I reckon when I moved, it's got thrown away for having them, helping the country. So I did my share towards it. But these old beards, he was horrible. She used to, because, say that, I was sitting here, that was my bathroom, where the bathroom was downstairs. And then, say, the range was there, and she used to open that door and sit in there. She said one day, she said, "Oh, Molly," she said, "do you think we could have your room and you have this room?"
Oh, really?
Yeah. I said, "Well, no." I said, "Where am I going to put all my stuff?" I said, "I've moved stuff out now for you to bring some of your bits and pieces." So, because I had it partly furnished, you see, they'd got my curtains, they'd got my flooring, and other little bits and pieces, so they couldn't do it because it was partly furnished. But no, I don't think they had it. Oh, when they went, love, because we got a little fireplace in there. And honest to God, the fluff and the dust was all up here, right up. And it's when they used to open the bedroom door, it took your breath away.
Oh,
So what I did when they went, I went in and opened up the windows. And what annoyed him, because he had to go back to his daughters. He had to go back down to his daughters because he couldn't get anywhere else. And of course the time was getting on. I think I was about 6 months with Joy then. The Kates would come to decorate the kitchen and their bedroom, and that annoyed him. And I could see him now. He went down the garden, the front path, with the broom on his arm, looking on my Sergeant Major, And he'd forgotten his wooden coal, because he'd got a big tea chest out the back, so to keep his wooden coal, and he'd forgotten that. I saw his son-in-law, and he said, "Oh, he wanted me to come back and fetch that." He said, "No, if you want it, you go and get it." But I don't think they could have had him very long, because when Joy was born, we hadn't got a chemist at Woob, and I don't think there was one at Ladewater either. You'd got to come to Bourne End to the chemist, where it is now. And I'd got to come down. I wanted something from the chemist for Joy, and as I went over, there used to be the crossing at Cawsend, the railway crossing with it. And as I went over there, Anne was with me, and I said, "Look who's coming, Anne." That was this old Mr. and Mrs. Beard. So of course I went to go past, and she got up there and a little pram, and she put that. She said, "Oh, I see you've got your baby, Molly." I said, "I got all what I wanted, thank you, Mrs. Beard," and away I went. Really horrible. He died with cat. He's always spitting in the sink, and I'm sure they didn't. Well, unless they had a bath down at the daughters, they never had one at my place.
And how long were they with you for?
Oh, about 2 years, I should think. Because Ian went into the nursery when he was. Because I didn't go back out to work until he was about 3, that was it, yeah, because he was about 2.5, because they had these little nursery, because he had his little camp bed, and they said he was I got a photograph of him. He was an old baby, because they had all their overalls, and I think it was cherries on there, and of course he went and had scarlet fever and all while he was there.
So now Mr. Martin came back then, and then you all moved back into the house and made it your home again.
Oh yeah, well, it's all decorated, because the council, they're supposed to do 2 rooms. They did the kitchen and their bedroom, and it was Smiths from Woburn. It used to be they were the undertakers. He did all the council decorating. He said, "You should have put in for your hall and staircase." I said, "Well, I didn't think so." I asked them, and they said, "Oh yeah, but anyhow." They said I shouldn't have had it done, because it was £10 to do 2 rooms. I'd had my £10 worth. You see, I didn't have to pay anything, but that's what they allowed to do. But anyway, then Arthur did all the other. We did it up completely, and then when she was born, and then as I say, we moved the 3rd of July. She was 3, the 24th of August.
So when you
up to Flackwell Heath.
You moved up to Flackwell Heath, and so what happened to the children? Where did they go to school?
Well, Anne was at the high school, and Ian was still at Woburn, but he used to go with it because there was quite a lot of children that moved from Woburn up onto that estate. Went down. They always used to go together.
Did they walk?
Yeah, down through the wood and down that way, love.
You wouldn't do that nowadays.
No. Well, then you see, Joy, when she was 5, she went along to the school at Flackwell Heath, the one that was where the community centre is now. That used to be the school. She went along there till she was 7. Well, then what happened? She went to Woburn, where it's made into houses now, down by the church, Woburn Church. That's where I went. That's where she had to go. And so what happened? I don't know. They went down in the morning. I didn't take them. I think somebody must have gone down, taken them in the morning. But Mrs. Purchase and I used to take it in turns. 1 week she'd go down, every other day, but 1 week because there's three days in 1 week to fetch, and the next week was 2. So we sort of done it so that 1 week I had 3, she had 2, the next week she had the 3 and I had the 2. And we used to go down to Ladewater and pick them up. We used to walk through the wood, down the steps, and pick them up.
So they'd be coming back on the bus, would they, or something?
Yes, my mother used to put Joy on the bus at the other end. See, my mother lived at Woburn Church, so she used to get Joy off. So I knew that she was quite happy. She'd get her off the bus, and then she made sure she got on, because my mother used to stand at the bus, and I went down Mum's one day, and we were waiting for this bus to come through, and because my mum, so I can remember the conductor saying, "Who's she?" Tell him the flatly shown got to get on first. I said, I don't know, I think must be something to do with the school. But my mum made sure the ones that got go the furthest, which is true, is right, because it was Flackleath and Ladewater, see, they were on first, well then at Woburn, and then some of them got us so far to go, and they'd get on the bus and have a right. Yeah, so I can see this conductor now. Who does she think she is? He said, when I got on and that.
So you had to walk up and down Treadaway Hill twice a day then?
I didn't go down the hill, my love. I went through the wood, the back of Pennell's Wood, where you used to go out with the dog. That opening. You used to go down there, then you go down there with some steps, you see, because the station and all used to be there then. Go down this, and I can remember there was like a little pond at the bottom of these steps. Well, I had my nephew staying with me, and of course he's like me, he wouldn't stick up for himself. He's very much like me in his ways and everything. And he come in one day and he was wet through. And of course I'd got my nephew staying with me, because I don't know, my brother and his wife are dads. And pardon me, I said, where was the man? So David said, he said, I punched this boy. He said he wanted so off of Ian, and I told him he hadn't got it. He said, and then he said this boy pushed Ian in this little, sort of almost like a big hole. That's when the rainwater had come all day. Pushed him in there, but he said I pushed him in as well, so because he was a tough little guy, he was, but he wouldn't stick up for himself. So
now tell me about the village then, Marty. You moved into a brand new house in a new estate.
Yes.
And this was one you'd seen being built, was it?
What, pardon?
Had you seen it being built?
Yes, I did, my love. Yeah, because they offered us one, what they called the Swindon houses. And I said, no, if I can't have a bay window, I'll stay where I am. Because they came and asked us, you see, what they called the good tenants. And I wanted it. Well, soon I seen those bay windows, I wanted one. And I said no. And then, of course, my next door neighbour-in-law, she came, but she didn't sort of mind. But I didn't want that one. Well, the doors, love, they were flush. But it was Tate and Lyle sugar. But you know what? They used to bring the Tate and Lyle sugar, and they'd stain them, and you could see Tate and Lyle on the door. I said, no. I said, I don't want one if I can't have a bay window. And I didn't. And anyhow, then it came through that I'd got that one, you see. And I always loved it there because it was such a nice little cul. People used to envy us in that cul-de-sac. But of course, then the Oster was there. Well, then they pulled it all down and built all those other houses. And that, it wasn't so nice.
Oh, so the other houses weren't there when you first moved there?
Oh, no, that's all fields all round there. I saw them all being built. When I first came up, Oakland Way, they were all built on one side. And then
Which side?
The
football side?
Yes, they were there. And then they were coming up round the Buckingham Road, round there, so that's what they called the Swindon houses. And then there was where old Polish chap lived, Brian lives, and the other. They were built, and they were building theirs. And then they said that I'd got number 25. I said, oh, good, I've got the first bay window. But of course they were going to put up 4 bungalows. So of course that would make it, you see. So then I got number 25 in these Swindon houses, and they weren't so nice. A little tiny, they'd got a little sort of scullery place, a little kitchen, and then there was like a big room. You could make it into 2, but you'd got to do that yourself. But it was like a big room. No, I didn't want that, love, and you'd got to go out across the yard for your downstairs toilet.
Oh, had you?
Yeah, and sort of it was all right, I suppose, and because they offered it, they said we could have it, and they said then when the bay window comes empty, you could move into that. I said no. I said everything's on dockets, even your lino. And I said go and buy that, and I said well, it's not going to fit in another house. I said no, I'll stay where I am. But anyhow, And it was lovely. I didn't want it because I was so happy there. I really was happy, but I'm happy here, love.
That's good. So now that large green that you have along when you go along Buckingham Way,
yeah,
there was always a large green.
That
so
was
was
always,
that field? Was that field when you moved
that was
there?
that was all fields, my love. You see, and then I saw all of them. I saw all the houses being built. All the there was the Swindon houses there, and there's the big green, and there was some of the bay windows there. But that's how I first saw them, because my sister-in-law, her sister had got one. She'd been allocated one, and she said, could I make her some curtains out of sheets, you see? And she was going to dye them. So anyhow, I went, I said, I'd love this. I said, swap with me, will you? Swap. Oh no, she said, I like it. And that's what made me, when they came round, I said, I'd love a bay window one. And they were the best ones, really. And no, they were all fields. And the back of us was a field.
Oh, was it?
Yeah. And where the hostel was, that was the hostel where where Lynn lived. That was where the hostel was, where they pulled all that down, because there was a little theatre and everything out there. Because Ian and them used to go over every Saturday for sixpence, just the pictures.
Did they at the hostel to watch films?
Yeah, and they used to have games, table tennis. The children, it used to be lovely. We used to walk through there to go to the wood. You could see them all in their little rooms, little hostel. Then they'd got this great big community room, you see, where they could go. And that, but the children used to go, and we loved it. The estate behind me, we saw them all being built, because there used to be cows all out there. There's a big orchard, you know, opposite the Stag. There's another sort of their private houses. That used to be a big orchard out there, all fruit trees.
That was a big orchard.
That was a big orchard there, and that was all fields all out there, love.
I hadn't realised. I thought that when they built your estate, they built the whole lot en masse.
Oh no, they did ours. I can remember when they were digging out the roads already, because they'd always do the roads and the drains first. Oh no, that was all fields, my love.
Oh gosh.
No, I can remember opposite where you are now. I can remember that being fields out opposite you.
So when you came up to Flackwood Heath, what shops were there?
Jennings's, Dolly Walker's, Whiteman's. That was all, my love. Wilkes's, yeah, Wilkes's. But I don't think it was Wilkes's then. I think it was Bryant's.
And where was the post office?
In Jennings, the shop it is now. But as you went in, and then there was like a little piece, very small. It was like a bit as big as my kitchen. That was the post office, because it used to be a baker's, butcher's, groceries, and all in one there. You see, because you can see all the hooks where they used to hang the meat.
Is that still there?
It must be in Genesis now, because I mean, you went it's all in one big shop, and there was the two girls used to serve. Well, there was 2 or 3 people used to serve there. I mean, you couldn't go and help yourself like you do now. I mean, you had to be served. Same with the butchers.
And you say there was no chemist?
I can't remember being a chemist, my love, because where the chemist, some friendly with Mum used to, where it is now, it's the
Staples, wasn't it?
What, love?
Staples chemist.
Yeah, well, that was there was a cottage there called Bottle Cottage. That was where the Bottle Cottage was.
So do you remember Bottle Cottage?
Yeah.
And could you see all the bottles?
You can see the bottles up in the thing. And where the community centre, and then there's a spare piece of ground where there was 2 houses there.
Opposite where Jennings is now, then?
Yeah, but they was more or less. They weren't. No, the shop was on the slant. Yeah, they were big houses. Got an attic. You know, they got. Yeah, those big houses.
When did they get pulled down then, Marty?
We were at Flackleaf and they were all pulled down. Same as Bottle Cottage. Because there should have been. They were going to build the library there, where that piece of ground is. And then they didn't do it, did they? Because I pulled the school down, you see, and built. Can you remember the school?
Yeah, I do.
Old school. That. And the canteen and all that.
Do you remember the old memorial hall?
Yeah. I remember that. I used to come there dancing when I was in my teens.
Did you?
Mm-hmm.
So even when you were at Reuben Green, you'd still got to Flackwood
This is when I was in service on the Abbotsbrook.
So you'd go up to Flackwood Heath for a visit?
I used to go up with the cook sometime, but not very often, look, because it's too much of a journey. But
Did you walk?
Yeah, you had to walk everywhere, my love. I used to come dancing from Abbotsbrook. We used to go to the Woburn Church Hall, and we used to come dancing there where it's all right. You could come up on the bus, but we had to walk home. And the dance didn't finish till 12, so you didn't get in till about nearly 1 o'clock in the morning.
Long way then, wasn't it, Marty.
But we did it, love.
And then you said when you were small, you remembered going to see the cherry blossom in the orchard.
Oh, yeah, it used to be beautiful at Flackwell Heath. See, they've all been built, haven't they, love?
So was that a regular thing?
There used to be cherry pie. So where they used to, and all the cherries. They used to go away in lorry loads of cherries.
Did you ever pick them? I mean,
I never did. No, love, no. But I mean, everything's been built on there. I mean, even where not the stag, the magpie, is it the magpie? Well, they got 2 acres, haven't they, on that? Well, that was full of cherry trees. And daffodils, used to go and buy them a penny a bunch when we first went to Flat. That was full of daffodils.
And you said there were violets somewhere.
Oh, yes, as opposite where the vet is now, because they're all new, you see. That was a little old lady had got that piece of ground, and her little cottage was down. You know, as you go to the football ground, then there's 4 houses been built there. Well, there was a little cottage there. They pulled that down and built those 4 cottages. And she'd got this piece of ground opposite, and that was I can remember there was a lot of sort of an iron gate like that. It used to be mauve with violets.
How lovely.
Yeah.
And what about bluebells, Marty? Were the woods full of bluebells?
Well, no. I mean, there's sort of beech trees in there, but I think the only bluebells would be up in the Oaks. That's that other, you know where the Oaks is, don't you? And that used to have bluebell. You can go into the Oaks, my love, if you go.
There is it?
Do you know where Smithy's son? You know, can you remember Smithy? Used to work for your aunt. Her son had a small holding along there. He used to buy plants. Well, along there, love, there's a footpath.
Now, Marty, when you were living in Flackwell Heath, then did you go to the farms for milk and butter and things, or was it not like that?
No, because we used to have a co-op, my love, and they used to deliver everything.
Oh, because you had lots of delivery vans.
We had everything was delivered then. I mean, we used to order on the co-op on my grocery book, and we used to have tokens for coal and your bread and your milk. No, you paid for your coal, but you wrote down your list in this book what you wanted, and if you want to say 100 weight of coal, well, they'd charge that on there, and then you'd order so many milk tokens, so many bread tokens. When the baker came, all you did, you just gave him a token, and your bread was paid for. And same with your milk. And they delivered every day.
From Wickham?
Yeah.
Gosh.
And
would you
no, but perhaps it's come from Bourne End. That was right, because do you know where the post office is in Bourne End, in the Furlong Road? But that was the co-op. Because I can remember once my grocery came. It was all done up in Brain. Because the man used to come round for your order, and you paid your bill from the last week. So he took your order, and then your groceries. He come about on the Tuesday, and your groceries came on a Friday. And I can remember I'd ordered some bacon, because it ain't wrapped like it is today. And I went to it, and it was alive with maggots. It was terrible, and it smelled. And I can remember I walked all the way back down to Bourne End to show him it.
Really?
Yeah, but then they opened, the co-op opened in Flackwell Heath. You know where, is it? Can you remember where they had the little flower shop, and it's closed down, it's gone down, well, next door used to be Simpson's, that's right. That was a nice little grocery shop when we first went to Flackwell Heath. That was it. That was there. Well, she gave it up and sold it to the co-op. Well, the co-op was there. Well, I used to go along there then. And is it an estate agent there now, or some sort? They had a piece built on the back.
I know what you mean.
Yeah. And then that little hut used to be her little shop. She used to be a little drapery shop. You could go and get odds and ends. Because I remember she used to run a Christmas club. And I used to go in and put so much a week, and then at Christmas I could go in there and get my presents. Well, of course, if you'd only got a couple of pound in there, you got quite a lot for that. And she used to give you so much in the pound, you see. She was nice, Mrs. Simpson, but she only had one son, and he got killed down at Bottom of Sheepbridge.
What, on a bike or something?
I don't know if he was on a motorbike or whether he's what. I can't remember, my love. But I know Joan, my daughter-in-law, her sister, was very fond of, because she worked at Mrs. Simpson's shop. And she was very fond of him. I think they were sort of more or less courting, but that sort of upset her. But then after that, they did coal and everything, Simpsons did. And then after that, then they sold up and the co-op bought it. And that.
Now, what did Wilkes sell?
That was a grocery shop, my love. That was a general. And then there was another little place where she sold drapery and all that, because Joy worked there for a little while when she first left school.
I remember that.
Then the old mother-in-law, she went in and sacked her.
Did she?
Yeah. Mrs. Wilkes' mother.
Why?
don't know, bless her heart, she was ever so happy there, and she come in crying that one dinner time, because she'd come home to dinner, she'd come in crying, and I said, well, she said, well, that lady she don't want me anymore, so I went along, and the person that was in, she said, I can't understand it. But apparently, we heard afterwards, she was in there, this woman was in there one day, and she was watching you, and something she didn't say to this person, and she sat there just like that. Well, she was only 16, and she went to the co-op in Wickham, that's right, and then she left there, and where did she go then? Oh, Office Day, Ladewater somewhere, I don't know where it was. Yeah, she was there when she got married. Big Ace by Ladewater Church. She was sort of in an office work, did office work. But she was so happy, and everybody liked her. And something she didn't quite do right. Oh, that she was awful. That, forget what her name was. She was only a jumped up sort of a person, poor person, jumped up, married into money, and there you are. But anyway, yeah, that was because before that was Brant. I can remember that when I was a child and lived at Woburn. That was Brant, and then there was Jennings's.
What about doctors?
Well, I think they was always there because there was Dr. Wright, because they built their houses on this piece of ground, haven't they? Because there was a tin hut, there was like a bungalow. It's all made of these tins. Oh dear, it's all painted green. I can remember that, but that was all pulled down. That's where those flats are now. Those on the corner.
Is that where you went and spent a penny?
Yeah, that's it. Had to run down there, and then of course Dr. Wright, he'd got a big house that's where they built the surgery now, and that.
So what about, you said Mrs. Fable did something in the village for children or something. What did Mrs. Fable
She used to work for the baby, used to weigh the babies, because I used to take weigh the babies at the nurse, that was at the Temperance Hall now, where they got the Roman Catholic Church, isn't it now? That was another little hall there, and she used to weigh the babies, and you could go and get your food and all that, your cow and gate, baby food. Well, I've taken you and Wendy many a time in there to...
So, Mrs. Fable, was she a sort of a well-known person in the village?
Yes, she was, Mum, because she should have big garden parties in your garden.
Did
Before she had her bungalow built, because she had that bungalow, that was all her grain. Did you know that was all her? Yeah, well, she used to have big garden parties all in there. The baby things and the Mothers' Union and all that. Yeah, she's a lovely old lady. Can you remember her?
Yeah, I can.
Yeah, she's a dear old soul. And many a time I've taken you and Wendy round to get your baby food and be weighed.
So what did she have a sort of position in the village? Was she sort of the local...
Well, she must have been very well liked and known, I should think, love.
She must have been quite well off too, mustn't she?
Yeah, because they sold all that, didn't they? And did they go into a home or had something built up Penway, did they?
Yeah.
I can remember they used to come round bonfire night. Can you remember them coming round at Guy Fawkes night and sitting in the lounge? I used to sit in there with them. We used to have baked potatoes and all that.
Oh, I
Yeah.
don't
Yes. Mum used to say, "Oh, you come round tonight, Marty. It's Guy Fawkes night. We're going to have all this and baked potatoes in the." We used to bake them out in the bonfire and that. Oh yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
And he used to, because I think he was a bit of something was wrong with him. But anyhow, he used to sit in the lounge and have the window. And I used to go and sit in with him sometimes.
Just say Mr. and Mrs. Fable for me, because I've mentioned their names, but you haven't. Can you just say Mr. and Mrs. Fable?
Mr. and Mrs. Fable. Yes.
Great, because otherwise I'll have to have my voice on the tape.
Oh yeah, is it on again now?
Yeah, it's on. Yeah, it's hopefully. Yeah, it's still on.
And yeah, she was a dear old lady. She was.
She can't have been that old when you first moved there, was
Well, she looked old, love. I don't know how old she was, but she looked. Because we do, don't you? I mean, I must look ancient to my grandchildren and that. I don't feel, but I must, because I mean, I can remember when I was a child. Of course, she's an old lady, and perhaps I was only in their 50s or 60s, you see.
Yeah.
Because I mean, we all dressed so different today. I mean, years ago, I'd have been in a.
Before you came round to be Mum's Daily Help, what did you do before that?
Oh, I worked along. There's some Americans came over, and they'd rented a house along East End, and I went along there for. Oh, I was there quite a while, and then she got an au pair girl. So of course they didn't want me anymore, but they used to come and visit me. And then my next door neighbour, she was a funny person. She worked next 2 doors away. What was it? Annan. He was in the Air Force. He was a captain or something in the Air Force, and she had been a nurse, but she married him, and she'd got twins, a boy and a girl, and 2 more younger girls, that was right. And Mrs. What was her name? Adams, she worked there. But she didn't give in a notice like she should have done. Mr. and Mrs. Annan were away. Well, then these Americans came on the grain. Of course, she was another one always wanting money. Everything she could get, she was money, money, money. Well, she just left a note to say she wouldn't be coming back anymore. Well, this Mrs. Annan, because I'd been along when Mrs. Adams went into hospital to have a big operation, I went and did her work for about a month, 6 weeks, you see. Well, when she left this note, this Mrs. Annan come to see if I'd go along and work for her, you see. Well, I used to go 3 days a week, Mondays, Wednesdays and Fridays. On a Friday, what was it, Audrey, little Audrey, I used to bring her home with me because her mother, she used to go shopping, while the other 3 were at school at Beaconsfield, that big school is closed now.
St Mary's or something?
No, it was a big school. The 2 girls were at once. Oakdean, that's it, and the boy was at another one. Well, they were at school, but I'd got little Audrey to look after, you see. And I used to bring her home, and she used to come round and collect her and take her. Well, it was just a great big pram it was. And, well, then I don't know what happened, whether he was, but they sold up and went out to South Africa. But I was told afterwards that little Audrey, she died, but she'd had another baby since, but I just don't know. That was a few years ago. Oh. But they sold this, but they've had a big bit built onto it now since I was there, because they'd got the bathroom and the toilet upstairs. They got one toilet downstairs, but they'd got a big sort of a scullery, and then it was like a great big kitchen, because that was what was the children's playroom. And you went through and there was the dining room. And then you sort of went through, there was the front door, and you went straight up the stairs from the front door, and there was the little lounge. And that, but I only used to go along 3 days a week. But I suppose I was there about 2 years or more. And I suppose I would have stayed on if they'd stopped there. But anyhow.
And then you came to?
And then I came round to you and was there 40 years. I never did that too long.
How did you find out that we wanted you?
Well, it was Mrs. Purchase. Somebody had told Mrs. Purchase that there was a job going. I think it was Smithy or somebody. And so, of course, Mrs. Purchase, she'd got a little job along the golf links or something. She come to me, she said, this lady wanted someone. She said, I'd been offered it. She said, I wondered if you'd like finish your house. Well, I don't know. Well, then I made a point to see your mum. That's when she was expecting you and sat in there. And she said, when she told me, she said, she was expecting you. She thought, oh, she won't come. But I love kids. So then I said to her, do you mind if I bring my little girl when she's off school? And of course, when she saw Joy, she thought she was only about 2 or 3. Well, of course, she was about, was she 6, 7? I said, well, she was my little girl.
Now, going back to the village, when it was still real countryside and farms then, did you ever visit the farms? Did you ever do anything like sort of going into the farms?
No, love, no, because there used to be a farm along Fennell's Way, didn't there? Fennell's Way. That was where Mrs. Ackroyd's house was always there, and then after that was farmland, you see. I can remember there's a farm there, and then there was one round Chapman Lane. There was Roberts's farm. And let me try and think, because yes, it was Roberts's farm. Because you know, on my Merriweather, I don't know if I've ever told you, his mother's used to work there. I think she was the housekeeper there.
Was she?
And she used to come around. I can see her now, bless her heart. They used to have big milk cans. She'd got one on each handlebar. She'd go around delivering milk. Yes, she was Roberts's housekeeper. And then when my mother was in hospital at Amersham, she was in the next bed to my mum because she was on a waterbed. I used to see Harry and his brother used to come up there to see her. And she'd got a cottage, pardon me, up Northern Woods way somewhere.
Did you go to Northern Woods much, or was it not?
No, because there was only one shop along there. That was where the glass shop, the mirrors and that is now, isn't it? Where they did the mirrors.
Yes.
Now who lived there? Well, he was a bit of a high knob in the village, and he wouldn't let them have any other shops up there. Oh, I think There was one day in Blind Lane, Sykes, she opened one up in her little front room, but I think that was shut afterwards. But everybody had to come all the way down to Jennings's for the post office and everything, you see. Well, it's a long, for the buses and that run it sort of frequently.
It's a long way,
yeah, it was a long way, love.
So did you go to Wickham quite often?
Oh yeah, we used to go there to do our main shopping really, because this was like little general store, little stores, but I mean if you wanted clothes or anything you'd got to go into Wickham. We used to go in, well, nearly every Saturday afternoon we used to take the children in, and we sort of went out and used to go to the Rye and all that, you know, but there's only ninepence return to Wickham, look at it now.
Jennings had a lot of farmland.
Yes, I'm going to say that must have been the back of, now is it, because Ian, he used to, I can't think of his name now. You know the Three Horseshoes pub? There used to be some cottages up there, and Ian used to go up there. A chap had some cows, and I used to say to him, "Where have you been?" Because he's supposed to come and he was having piano lessons. How about something with his cows, he used to say. And I don't know, no, they can't be there now, no, I think.
The recreation ground was always there, was it?
Yeah, that was always there, my love. And then, as I told you, make that footpath up the side. You can go down to Ladewater. Have you ever done it?
No,
go
still
that
haven't
little.
done it yet.
It's still there. It's overgrown, my love. Every time I go by there, I think of you. You know where they've built those other new houses, Chapman Lane?
Yeah.
It's just before you get there. If you look up, love, you'll see it's footpath. And you go straight through there, and that takes you down, right down the golf links, down into Ladewater, if you wanted to go to home base or...
Is there a visible pathway through the golf course?
Yes, and you go down, well now you go down some steps. Before you used to have to go over the railway bridge, down and then out into the road, but now you've got some steps to go down.
Before they built that connecting road between Heath End and Dawes Hill Lane, what happened at Heath End? Where did the road go? Can you remember?
That's always gone along there, my love.
It's not on the map as if you could, Marty.
Oh, I know, Hard to Find Lane. Because I can remember when we first came up here, my mother... We got Joy in the pushchair and we went out there and we went and got some, well, we'd got a coal fire, and we bought some wood and that, hard to find fire. You know where the college is? Well, we used to walk across there, right, that used to take us right out into the Rye for a walk.
What were you walking through, fields?
Yes, fields all the time, and that brought you out into the Rye. Can you remember, along the back of the Rye there's like a plate, like a built-in, like all brick, I forget what they call it. And there's a seats in there. That used to bring it all out. We used to come out on that way to the Rye on a Sunday evening. Cause I can remember my aunt, we were going to cross that. It was before the college was built. And we were going to cross there, and there was some caves out there. And of course my aunt was with us. And this cave was coming towards us, you know. And Arthur kept on, "Come on, Buttercup, come on, Buttercup." She says, "Arthur, shut up. And this cave kept going, "Come on, Buttercup, come on." He was a devil. Yeah, and then that brought you out into the top of Keep Hill, and then you went down into the Rye.
Oh, so you would have walked along towards sort of an American Air Force base?
Yeah.
Oh, just all across fields?
All across fields, yeah.
Must have been.
Yeah, that would have gone across, that's it, the back of where the American Air Base, and that brought you down out there, and then Keep Hill, and then you went down down here, and I can remember walking along, is it called the Dyke?
Yeah.
And yeah.
Was the American Air Force base there when you...
No, love, no. I can remember that being built.
Oh.
Well, it must have been then. Yes, of course it must have been, love, because that was built during the war, wasn't it?
But maybe you did some of those walks across before you moved here, Marty, did you?
No, not when we lived at Woburn, my love. No, we didn't get to that. We used to come to Flackerley for walking, and that, but we never used to go that way. We always used to go so that we got nearer home, you see, sort of. Yeah. Come up the Golf, or come up Treadaway Hill, or up with kiddies used to have to come up, like coming up through the wood, you see, because where it is now, they used to walk up the side of the wood and come out, and then we used to sort of walk through and then come back down the golf links, and that.
So really, in your memory, when you first moved up to Flackwell Heath, most of the area was fields then, and
oh yes, love, yeah.
So when they started building in the 60s and 70s, were you disheartened?
Not really, though, because I mean they wanted houses for people to move into, but I mean they've gone up like mushrooms in the latter years. Because I mean, as I say, Longfennel's where that was all, well, opposite your side was all fields and that, and.
So you weren't, as a family, just disappointed that all your countryside was going?
Well, not really, because I mean, when you're like that, you don't sort of think about it, do you? You don't bother. But I mean, as you get older, you think, oh dear. But I mean, the cherry tree, it was beautiful. All the cherries. People used to come up there, cherry tree Sunday and that.
When was Cherry Tree Sunday?
I can't really remember though. See, Joan had that book. I keep asking her about, but because now they've moved, I don't know whether they've got it or whether they haven't. But that's all about Plackwell Heath and all this, that, and the other.
Yeah, you said something about.
Don't knock yourself out, because I can't drive. I didn't drive anybody in the boat.
Now, you said down at the, is it Unite or Units?
Units, yeah.
Units. That they had skating parties or something.
Yeah, they used to have a lake, and they used to go out there skating in the winter time, all lit up, all the pretty lights round.
How would the lights have been done?
I suppose there'd be candles, wouldn't they, my love? My mother was in service there, you see. She was the parlour maid.
So she skated on the lake?
I don't know whether she skated, because they used to have a lot of visitors, you see, because he was a doctor, wasn't he? He was Dr. Unit.
Was he?
I think he was a doctor, yes. I say Dr. Bailey knew him, doctor. I'm sure he was. Oh, I wish my mum was alive. She could have told you such a lot.
So now, would she have come, would your mother have gone up to Plackwell Heath for events, do you think, like you did?
I doubt it, my love, no, because, see, when they got married, they moved to Farnham Common. I can remember there's an old lady, we lived next door, this old lady used to keep a shop that used to sell candles, and they used to chop the wood up and paraffin. And in this shop, I don't know if I've ever told you, there was a great big drum of paraffin, and she used to have to turn on a tap for you to fill you. What did Molly do? She turned it on, and there was my mum took me, she said, look, that's what you done. And I turned this tap on, of course all the paraffin came out all over the wooden floor. But I think it's all been pulled down there, because they used to be, they'd got it, this shop didn't belong to her, but she used to live in the cottage, and she used to sort of go in and sell them it's like paraffin candles and all that sort of thing. And my mum lived next door to her. Granny, no, what was her? She used to tell. And I can't remember her name. And then these people, he'd got a greengrocer shop. Well, it's only just recently, I think, been taken over with somebody else. I can't think of the name now, my love. That was as where the buses went straight through Farnham Common.
So you actually lived in Farnham Common?
Yeah, for a while. And then we must have moved over to where we lived at Woburn. Then I can't remember living it, because I was only a baby. Because that's where I think my brother was born out there.
So going back to your days at Plackwell Heath, are there still people in Plackwell Heath that were sort of low, the big names there? I mean, what about you, Von Carter? Because she used to be at school with you, didn't she?
Her sister, she went to the same school I did, but her sister was my age. Dorothy, she died all years and years ago with cancer.
Because she's lived in the village years, hasn't she?
She was born in Plackwell Heath.
And I'm just trying to think of anybody else that, I mean, like Mr. Clark. Do you remember Mr. Clark?
Mr. Clark, yeah. Well, he was a Plackwell Heath man. I mean, he had a big. Well, he was his father. He had a big family. He had a lot of brothers and sisters, and all those houses, the back of where they used to live, where the chemist is. That land all belonged to his father.
Oh, did it?
Yeah, and then Mr. Clark, and then I know one of his brothers. When I first went to Plackwell Heath, they lived in number 2 in Oakland Way. Well, then when his father died, I think they must have sold all that grain. It was like an orchard and everything. And this Mrs. Clark and her husband, they had a bungalow built on there. And because I used to live at number 2 Oakland Way. And she had 3 daughters and a son. She was a nice little person, she was. And then he died. It was all Clarks and Sarnies, my love.
Was it? Because Mr. Clark, the one I remember, owned a hardware van.
That's right, yeah. Well, before he moved in, it was Mr. Howard who used to live there. He was used to sell oil and all that, and I think he must have bought the business off of him. And yeah, Mr. Clark, I can remember him coming round, because he used to come round to your mum's.
I remember that.
Yeah.
What about Halls, the coal merchants? Have they always been there?
As far as I remember, yes. They were. I don't know who it was before that, my love, because that's a bit awkward to get. You used to have to go down the side of that. And I think he was always. And then he bought a lot of the grain. Yeah, because I think he lived down Swains Lane. the second house down, and then I think he bought all that ground out there because there was a big house out there. And I can remember I went down there once to pay for my coal because we used to have our coal off of him. And when the co-op and all that gave up. And I went down there to this big house because he had two children, Brian and Beryl, because my cousin's name was Brian and Beryl. And I saw Beryl down here one day because she was very friendly with Anne at school. And I was coming out of the greengrocers, and she said, "Oh, hello." I said, "Hello." And she said, "How are you?" And I said, "About down here." She said, "Oh, I live down here." I said, "Do you?" She's all been down there. I think she said about 15 years. And she lives over by where Jackson's Mill was.
So she was a Hall.
She was a Hall. That was one of the, that was Mr. Hall. That was his, as I say, he had a son and a daughter. Well, the son, he moved away. He took over the business when his dad died. And then he sort of sold it. I don't know. I think he sold it to Saunders at Ladewater. And he moved away to Aylesbury. But I think he must have still kept this house in Swange Lane where his dad lived.
Is the house still there, Marty?
You know those bay windows as you go down Swange Lane? It's the second one down.
So there's a big house behind the back.
Oh, the big house, and then they built such a lot of ground, and they built all bungalows because Beryl had one built out there.
What about someone said there was a cobbler's in Flackwell Heath. Do you ever remember that, Marty?
Yeah, there used to be Mr. Used to keep the news agents. Chettle.
Was he a cobbler?
Oh yeah, there was a shoe shop. Yeah, used to mend your shoes next door.
Did he?
Yeah. When I first came up here, there was like a little shop, and he had a little wooden hut. And then he had it sort of already done. He had the sweet and newspaper shop built, and his little shop was the other side. Well, then when he sort of gave it up, they made it into one big shop. When they built them houses on there now, you see.
They have.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to think of anybody else that would have been sort of. What about the Jennings? They were a big family.
Oh, well, they've always lived up at Flackwell Heath, my love. Yeah.
And who was in Jennings' shop when Jennings' shop was there? Who used to sort of run that?
Well, there was a lot of brothers, you see. There was 2 brothers, I think, was run that. One did the butcher part, and the other one did the grocery. I used to make bread and everything along there, you see. That used to be ironmongers and everything. Ironmongers one side, groceries that side, and then the bakery, and then down the bottom was the butchers, and then over the little side was the post office.
Oh, it was big then, wasn't it?
Well, it's no bigger than what it is now, love.
Oh, really?
No, that was all. I don't know where they did it, but they got all. No, it's no bigger. I think the bank's been built on that since. The bank and them other little shops, the other side, they've been.
Yeah, like the Chinese restaurant.
Yeah, that's all been built on because the bookies that's gone across the other over to by Budgeons, hasn't it?
Yes, it has. How did you know that, Marty?
Well, I've come by. If Ian or anybody's brought me up through that hour any time seen it, love.
Now, someone said there was a post office on the Common in where the War Memorial is, further down. Do you ever remember that?
Well, there used to be a little sweet shop, Mrs. I think was it Lee? It's right at the just past it. There's 2 little bay windows, and there was a little sweet shop in there because I remember we used to come up here for a walk. We used to go in and get some. The kiddies used to go in there and get some sweets. It's in a private house sort of thing. In what they call their front rooms, they'd made into this little sweet shop. But I can't remember a post office. It could have been in there, you see. Like I just don't know.
And do you remember the pubs ever being rowdy, or were they always well-behaved pubs?
Well, I expect they were ready in the old days, like when they'd been cherry picking. The old chaps used to. They must have been, my love. Must have been, mustn't they? Because there was such a lot of pubs. There was the Stag, the Magpie, the Green Dragon, the Green Man, Cherry Tree, and then there's the 3 Horseshoes.
It's amazing, isn't it, to have so many pubs in one.
Well, look, down at Woburn we did. We had nothing but pubs down there.
Yeah, you did, didn't you? You had loads.
There was you started off at Ladewater. There was but still there now. Well, what do you call that? Happy Union. Then there was the Barley Mow. Then there was the Rose and Crane. There's another one and then there was the Red Cow. There's another one that used to do fish and chips. That's right. That's where the old people's houses are now. Then there was the Steps. There was the Great Western. And there's another one across the road after that's all been pulled down now. There's houses built. Then there was the Red Lion. But down where my mother lived at Woburn Church, there was the Stag, And then there's where they made the beer. And then there was the Harrow. Then there's the, still there now, opposite the old school. Oh, I forget the name of it now. That's the trouble. And then you come all round Daneborn in.
Now, when the cherry picking was on, Marty, did you actually go off and collect loads of cherries to eat? Did you buy?
I can't remember going up there, my love, but I mean, because we went up there. Well, when we first moved there, it was cherry trees, but not like it used to be, see, because they started building, you see. But, I mean, they used to do the black cherries, used to do cherry pies, and I think they used to sell all those sort of things.
You don't remember a youth hostel, do you, in the village?
I can't, it don't bring me to mind. Yeah, I sort of remember they used to about hearing about a youth hostel. Where would that have been then?
I think up near Northern Woods, Marty.
Oh, up that way.
Now, you said, I've been down Juniper Hill before, but you said that you used to walk up Juniper Hill, didn't you?
Yeah, but now you can drive your car up and down there now.
So in the old days you couldn't then?
No, love, no, because there was the railway crossing at the bottom. And you used to have to go and ask the bloke to open the gate. And it was just like a cart track up there. You couldn't have drove a car, but now I've been up there with Kevin. I said, my God, I said, think we used to come up here with children, and now you can drive your car because they're building all down there because they've got rid of that garage, haven't they? And they're building all out there.
So would that have been your most direct route up to Flackwell Heath? Yes,
or up the golf links. That's the only way. Or come up Treadwell. But I mean, that was a quicker way up there. Because my grandfather up Juniper, he used to have I think I taught a little paddock. He used to put his little pony in there, little Taffy.
Did he?
It's a little paddock.
So that was a horse and cart he had?
Yeah, a little pony and trap. And he used to keep he'd got a stable up at his house, and his house is still there. I could go. Well, my uncle bought the house, and I think my nephew bought it. I don't know, love. But he'd got the stable at the top of the garden, and then he'd got another big shed, and that's where the trap used to be in, because I can see it. The handle, the it's being tied up to the ceiling and that. And little Taffy, little pony, yes, Taffy. I did have some photographs of it. My grandpa used to say, we're going to take her down to the paddock now. Come on, I used to have a little ride on her back. On his back, little Taffy. Yeah, it's funny how these little things stick in your mind, these little... Yeah, and I can remember we used to have to go over the railway crossing, and then as the gate was here, and then you went along a little footpath there and into his little paddock where he used to graze. Used to stay there.
So that would have been the bottom of the hill rather than...
Yeah, the bottom. Almost at the bottom. Yeah, because you know where the railway trap is, and then the house is still there where the bloke lived at, used to do the gates, but so you used to have to shout or ring a bell or something, I don't know, shout or go up to the house.
That house is still there?
That's still there, but you see, if you were a pedestrian, you'd got swing gates you could go through, but the other gates was all shut, so if you'd got because Jennings's had all that grade was Jennings's all up there, and if you wanted a car or anything, you have to call them, and then they come and let you. And I think Mason's had a field at them when they used to cut the grass, and I can remember because we used to go up there and play with kids. I can remember that as well as anything.
So was the pony and trap your grandfather's only way of getting around?
Yeah.
Would he have gone into Wickham on it?
I expect they used to, my love. I've had little rows in it, but I can't sort of remember. Oh, yeah, pony and trap, little Taffy. I've got a photograph of my grandmother and grandfather stood there, and my two uncles. I think
I've used that in the video.
Yeah, you did, didn't you, love it? Oh, my brother, he thinks the world of that.
Does he?
Oh, he said he has to put that on. I said,
oh,
yeah,
nice.
yeah. Oh, they all do. I don't know where the other one is. I think Joy's got it or Sarah. It's all in the family, love. Because I said, I haven't got a video, so I can always see it when I go up there. Oh, no, my brother, he showed it to his daughter and all that, and he's quite chuffed with it, you know. He said, I said, no, you can have it. I said, Sally did it for you.
Yeah.
And that, so...
Now, the other thing I know I wanted to ask you, the church in Flackwell Heath, was that where Anne got married?
No, Anne got married at the Baptist Chapel in Wickham, you know, in Easton Street.
Oh, right.
Joy got married up there at the Flackwell Heath. No, Joy... that's where Anne got married, at the Baptist Chapel, because as they were coming down Crendon Street, I think they sort of went up round, so they didn't have to go up street. So they didn't. It's for turning. As they were coming down Crendon Street, the taxi broke down.
Oh no.
Yeah, and so that was with Anne. I said Anne and Arthur was in, because John and them. So then because then we had a reception down at the. It's not there now. I can't think of the name. down opposite the railway, I think. And so they had to have, they had John's tack, what brought him down. And some of us had walking in them days. Obviously, we hadn't all got cars. I know we walked down because then they went away at 1 or 1:30 in the afternoon, because they went to Newquay for their honeymoon. That was right. So we was all got a photograph of them all up on the station waving goodbye to them.
So now, why did Anne get married in Wickham, and why did Joy get married in Flatwell Heath?
Well, John always used to go to the Baptist chapel, you see, and Anne, because I was brought up at the Wesleyan Sunday School. Well, my brother and I never missed it, because my grandmother would see that I didn't miss it. Well, one year they gave it at the anniversary. They gave 8 books for a present. Well, I never got one, other than my brother. And my grandfather, he complained. He said, I've never missed. Yet I didn't get a book. So we said we'd go to the Baptist chapel. So we used to go to the Baptist chapel. Well, of course, that's where Arthur's mother, because Arthur was never baptised. I said, you ain't really married to me, because I didn't. And but when his sister got married, she got married at Wigan Church, where she went and she was baptised. She did it properly, but I didn't even know, you see. Well, then, of course, when Anne started going out with John, he belonged to the Baptist chapel at Wickham, that big one. His mother, she used to go there and that. And, of course, that's why they wanted to get married at the Baptist chapel. And then Joy, she got married, because we was in Flatwell Heath, so that's why Joy got married at Flatwell. I can remember that right. That was in November when it was cold, that drizzly rain. I can always remember that.
She wore blue, didn't she?
Very, very pale blue.
I remember it was really pretty.
Yeah. And the bridesmaids the same.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
Now, was that the church that looks the same as it does now, or was that the earlier version?
No, same as it is now, because it hadn't been built. Well, I don't think it's been built all that length of time. I don't know where. They couldn't have had a church up there, could they, before?
Well, they have a picture of a church which doesn't look like the church now, so I think there was one of some kind.
Because that one where they do the Roman Catholic, that used to be the Temperance Hall. That's where I used to take you to when Mrs. What was it? I used to take you to
Mrs. Fable.
Yeah, that was a Temperance Hall then. And I can remember the big one, the other big hall, but where there must have been a church. I don't know. Perhaps they all went to Ladewater, my love.
Now, Mum says I was christened in the Flatwell Heath church. Do you remember if I was?
I can't remember your christening, my love.
You see, I thought I would have been christened at Little Marlow, but maybe not. Maybe it was Flatwell Heath.
I can't remember your christening. I remember you being bridesmaid at Marcia's wedding and all that, but onward Christian soldiers. Oh, you should see Mrs. Roberts' face and Litton's. Oh, but at a wedding. I remember that, but I can't remember you being christened. Honestly, isn't it funny?
Yeah.
I must have been.
I would have thought you'd have been there.
No, I just can't remember that, my love.
Now, and the other thing is, do you remember Mrs. Fable's sons? Do you remember the family?
There was one son used to live at the corner, isn't he? You go along Chapman Lane, right on the corner there. That was the only one I can sort of remember.
So they weren't living at home at number 34?
I don't know, love. I couldn't tell you whether there was one there, but I know this one there because I think Joan's mum used to work for her. I can't, whether it's Albert sort of thinks, I know she used to talk about Mrs. Fable and that, because one of them used to do a lot of painting, didn't she? One of the Fable, was it that Mrs. Fable that did do paintings?
Really?
I'm sure she did, love.
What, old Mrs. Fable?
Not old Mrs. Fable, the daughter-in-law.
Oh, I think there, what was it? Is there a Beryl for Fable?
I just don't know, my love, but I knew Mr. and Mrs. Fable so well. I mean, and going there, and I mean, I used to know Mr. Fable by like coming round to your mum's and that, because I used to come round and sit in the garden and that. But
And who else did you know? What about the Roberts? Did you know the Roberts?
I didn't know them not until I sort of come along to work for Mum and that. And no, got on the bus one. I think I got on the bus one day, and I got Joy, and Mrs. Roberts got on at Fennel's Way, and I was on it, and he come on. I said, just for mine. He said, she's 3. I said, no, she's not. And then when Mrs. Fable got on, he had her just the same. She didn't. Yeah, about one of her children. And she said, no. She said, if they were 3, I would pay him. I think Joy was just about 3, but I wasn't going to tell him. He was so nasty.
No.